Coach, how would you, from an overall standpoint, assess your last game as non-conference comes to a close?
That was good. I thought the big takeaway was just the ball was moving, man. It was not a whole lot of forced shots. That's the way we want to play. I thought the guys did a good job of playing for each other, and that was a big takeaway.
Cannon Catchings has his best night as a BYU Cougar, 21 points. What was different for him tonight? Because he's been dealing with some shooting woes, if you will.
For me, and I told him this after the game, him and I were just spending a lot of time together talking about, just how he can play better. And for me, it's not even about the shot making or missing. It's about taking the right shots. And I thought tonight he, been all over him about taking catch and shoot threes. I think all 7 of them, those tonight were catch and shoot. And then just love the way he's attacking the paint, particularly in transition. So the thing I love about Cannon, man, he's extremely coachable. And, when we lock in on something, he's usually able to carry it over, and that was definitely the case tonight.
I asked you this about this at halftime, but the defensive performance overall, it's the second game in a row where you've really limited an opponent and really made it hard for them to score. What's happening there?
Just our defense is a lot more compact. That's kind of been our war cry since the Providence game. I felt like we were a bit too strung out early on in the season, and we've really been trying to tighten things up and just keep people out of the paint. And, that's allowed us to not foul people nearly as much and, kind of making guys take the threes that we want them to take.
What's the message to your team as they go on a longer break, 11 days between games, and you open up Big 12 conference play, no less?
Yeah, in a perfect world, this game probably fell on the 21st or 22nd, so probably a couple extra days off than we'd like. But, I just told him, hey, look, man, you gotta kind of be a pro right now. You got to work on your game on your own, get in the weight room. Our strength coach and our development guys have plans lined up for every guy. And then we'll be back, here in short order, back in the gym as a group. So it'll be a nice little reset, and looking forward to the break myself, but also really looking forward to those 3 or 4 days of practice leading up to the conference play.
I know you've been trying to piece together a healthy lineup, and Dallin was out early, and then he comes back just in time for Yegor and Richie to have to sit out a little bit. So what's the toughest part about balancing that and trying to figure out your roster?
Yeah, that is the biggest challenge, I would say, right now. Luckily, our practices have all been extremely competitive. I think our depth has shown really in this stretch where we've gotten some injuries, but I've seen it from day one in practice, where our practices are super competitive because of the group of collective guys we have. So I think some of that chemistry is able to find itself in the practices, but, make no mistake about it, there's still going to be growing pains as we get everyone together on the same page as the competition gets a bit harder, and that's just something we'll have to work through.
What are you seeing from Dallin Hall that makes you feel like he's getting back to more of his usual self?
I think just playing with a little bit more confidence, attacking that rim. Even you missed a couple bunnies, really up at Delta Center and tonight too, but, just to stay with it. I thought had a couple and ones or fouls at the end there. And then seeing the ball go through the net from 3, that certainly helps everybody. But I just like his moxie. I think he's starting to play with a bit more confidence.
You said earlier that you're hopeful and believing that Yegor and Richie will be back for a Big 12 player. It's not official yet, but what can you tell us in terms of their health and them coming back?
Yeah, both trending in the right direction. Richie got his bell rung pretty good, but I think he'll be fine. Yegor he's trending well. All the reports and the kind of the check-ins have been positive. He's been able to ramp things up on the court, so we're expecting a full recovery, and I think those guys will be good to go.
Need to ask you about Hasim Embu, who is now a midseason addition to this BYU roster. What are your plans for him as he joins the team and looks to get into practice and whatnot?
Yeah, so he'll be in town, here in the next little while everyone else is kind of away getting work in. But yeah, he'll join us for full practice right when everybody gets back in town. As I mentioned about our practice already being competitive, he'll add to that. 6'9", powerful athlete. He'll definitely make things more Big 12-like in practice, and he's got a ton of upside, man. So we're excited to start working with him.
If you had to pinpoint one thing, I don't know if you want to call it a concern or a question mark about your team as you head into Big 12 play, what would that be?
I think you hit it earlier, just the chemistry, the continuity. Really, it's on me to make sure that we're subbing it properly and having the right combinations of guys out there. Not having the time that's really needed to get that sort of done, I'd say is probably the downside of where we are right now. But I think our identity on both sides of the ball, I think, is really come together nicely, especially post-Providence game. And so we'll rely on that. But, yeah, like I said, man, it's going to be, a little bit of a feeling out process still.
What do you feel like you learned from those 2 losses against Ole Miss and Providence that made you better?
Yeah, just our, the compactness of our defense, some scheme-centric things on the defensive end that really keep us a little tighter together. And then offensively, just being able to handle different looks that teams are throwing at us. I thought teams, sped us up and kind of got us a little unorganized. And so we changed some things schematically to kind of combat that, but still trying to play to our strengths. So it was definitely good learning lessons, and I'm sure there'll be plenty more.
Okay, now let's change pace here because this is the interview before Christmas break. Besides some obvious rest that you very much deserve, what are you hoping for and what's on your Christmas wish list?
Oh, man, honestly, I'm just looking forward to spending time with family. It's been literally probably 20 years since I've had this amount of time off during Christmas, all the way to back when I was a college player, which was a million years ago at this point. But, yeah, man, just looking forward to family time. Getting to see my kids on actually Christmas morning, which I've missed that several different times over the last decade. So, just that family time will be awesome.
Fantasy football is winding down for you and your brothers. So what do you do to continue the competition once fantasy football ends?
Well, first of all, I'm in the Final Four of the Fantasy League, which is huge. A lot of bragging rights on the line there. And then, we shift gears into basketball mode. As far as, the text thread's a little different, but it's a fun time of year.
Hey, we appreciate the time you spent with us. Congratulations on a big win tonight. And J-Mac taking you over 100.
Hey, that guy gets his money's worth, I can tell you that. So it was actually hilarious. There was 3 seconds left. I was like, hey, J-Mac, just dribble it out. And he's like, he came over and was like, Coach, you thought I was going to shoot it, didn't you? And I said, yes, I did. So it was but he's a great kid, man. He helps our program quite a bit. But I'll use this time to wish everybody a Merry Christmas, you as well. Hope everyone has a fun and safe holiday.
Coach, appreciate it. Thanks so much.
Thank you.